Whoa! 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 What? What? Something's different. Wow. Okay. Well, welcome to the Meeting Underground. Today we're going to start a two-part show, two-part series on the role of art in culture. My name's John LaFave.
I'm Jonnie G.
And back in episode 3, I had Jonnie on, did interviews with him. He and I are in the group Blind Drifter Luke. But today we're going to just have a discussion, and we're going to talk about the role of art in culture, the role of art in our lives, what it means, the importance of it, the passion of it. We're going to talk about those things, and we are by no means experts. We're just going to talk about it because we like just talking about it. So to start out with, when we talk about art, and if you've watched the episodes in the past, I have talked about art pretty freely in different ways. A lot of times I'm talking about music, and a lot of times I'm talking about other things. What do we mean by art? Well, you could include all the things from creative arts, which has anything to do with creating, anything to do with making, sculpting, drawing, painting, writing, those kinds of things. Performing arts has to do with drama and storytelling and all that kind of stuff. And literary art is things about writing. Now, those are categories of art that people understand as the arts. But it can be more than that. What do you think?
Yeah, I think it can be anything, any form that an individual can express themselves.
Yeah.
It could anything from cooking or
especially as
gardening. Anything is.
I've been called an artist type. I am one. You've been called an artist type.
Sure.
So that kind of thing means stuff like, I remember I went through a period of my adult life where I began cooking a lot, and I had to cook a lot, and I just loved it. Mm-hmm. And it was like no different to me than playing my guitar. It was like creative, and I loved the process of writing, of cooking.
And I remember it fulfilling. You weren't playing as much music at that point.
No.
And it was fulfilling that side of you as a creator, or as a creative mind that you weren't getting from music or physical drawing or painting or anything like that. So it's a broad
I think
spectrum.
for a person that's an artist type, anything can be art. Life and living can be art.
Mm-hmm.
What's some other things? Like your job, different kinds of jobs.
Yeah, you can. I feel like you can find creative, artistic qualities of almost anything.
Yeah.
I mean, depending on the individual, people can express it in different ways and find it in different places. I feel.
I've always used the subject of a mechanic, because a mechanic seems to me, sometimes it seems to be the furthest thing from art.
Yeah.
But I see it exactly like a good mechanic is an artist.
Absolutely.
And they are an artist doing that. A good business, let's say an entrepreneur, entrepreneurship is an art, is the art of building a business and doing all those things. The role of art brings heart to the mundane chores and tasks of life.
Yeah.
And it's really a good thing for us to see it as art. Now, imagine a world, now in the bigger sense, imagine a world without art. What would that be like? Everything...
I feel like, I don't want to jump to this, but I almost feel like it would feel a little lifeless. Because like we were just saying, there can be art in anything, and really being an artist of whatever you do is kind of just being a little more passionate than just doing a mundane task. You can be more into it and expressive in what you're doing. So without that quality, I feel like...
It's almost like saying you have a passion for what you do and you're doing it from the heart.
Yeah,
right.
It's kind of anything done from the heart. So
it's done from the heart, it's done from passion.
It
becomes it becomes the brush and the pen. It becomes the brush of life. And no matter what it is you're doing. And
a world without that, jeez. It's not a world I want to live in.
It would be like going to black and white film again.
Yeah, exactly. A little.
Be going to non-talkie.
A little unsaturated.
No talkie film. It would be like going back. And today we live in a pretty a culture that's pretty tolerant of and promotive of the arts. I think better than it was maybe when I was growing up.
Yeah.
And so anyway, What does art mean in your own life? What has it meant growing up? And Jonnie is an excellent drawer. He draws. I don't know, an artist. Sketch
artist. Yeah,
there you go.
Something like that.
Yeah. So what has it meant to you, like as not just an outlet subject, but also a expression, giving expression
for me, it
allows you to have an expression.
Man, for me, art is. I feel like it's been a main, like almost pretty much center stage most of my life, and because I can remember as far back as kindergarten, all through school, drawing.
Yeah.
I was always sketching in school, probably when I shouldn't be, but I couldn't help it.
Me too.
You know, yeah, it's like when you try to make a kid that's got that kind of mind sit still in a class, I'm going to find a way to create something while I'm probably supposed to be listening to the teacher. So I feel like it's played a huge role in my life since I was a small child. I mean, music's always been in my life. I didn't even play music when I was young, but music,
hearing,
in the air, yeah,
experiencing,
and sketching, and
yeah,
I mean,
music has always been a big thing in our family.
Yeah,
from all the time since all of us were I was younger and you were very younger.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
As far back as I can remember.
Yeah. Well, the purpose and the value of that's why we are real proponents of promoting your children, promoting art to kids, to children.
Yeah.
It's so important, and it's important for our culture to value that and to promulgate that. We believe that.
I think we're getting better as a society. I feel like as a society we're slowly opening up to how important allowing children or grown-ups to express themselves through art is, and like how much it can help.
What I love about art, good acting, good writing, good script writing, good songwriting, good performance is that you can take it at different levels. You can take it at face value. Art is just simply being something beautiful. Mm-hmm. And then it's like an onion. You can go further and you see it. You see that, I've always said that, I see it as a very spiritual thing because you can see it in nature, in creation. You see on the surface level this vast, beautiful work.
Yeah.
Whoever you give credit of that to, you can't deny the beauty of what's seen in nature. But beyond that, there's so many valuable, incredible stories that you find in nature, like the lives of birds and animals and interactions and all of that.
It seems to be intertwined into existence as a whole.
Yeah.
However you want to see that as, it's everywhere. I mean, the cycles of life are a beautiful creation.
And I think part of whatever your spiritual perspective is that art has a way of has this thing about connecting you to those kinds of things, to the kind of essence of reality in life, however you view that.
Yeah.
But anyway, now the role of art in culture today is also it's art is self-expression. It simply can be beauty. It can be meaningful. Some thoughts you have about that, like the idea of its value in our culture, the value of it in our life.
I feel it's the role of art in culture in general. I feel like it's almost everything. I feel like it's the balancing factor in culture, because there's a lot of things that aren't artistic in culture, obviously.
Yeah.
The business side, or whatever you want to think of, like the products or the things.
Or all the stuff that's political and all the stuff that's divisive and all that kinds of stuff.
I feel like art is the thing that balances it all out and tends to kind of unite society, in the society of culture, like together, and to bridge the gap. Bridge the gap. I mean,
it does. I think that people that have nothing to do with one another, that don't even know each other, become like, they listen to a wonderful song, or you listen to a band performing a great piece of art. It links people that don't know each other into one experience.
Yeah.
And it tends to promote humanity, spirituality, kindness, those kinds of things,
Yeah.
or really being empathetic toward one another and caring for one another. Those kinds of things come out of that heart space, because I think art basically is heart space.
I think most
From the
people
heart
are
mostly.
drawn to that, yeah. And we all tend to be drawn to that in different ways. It's why two people that don't agree on anything else can agree on an excellent TV show,
Right.
Or music, like you said, or I mean even pop music.
Right.
Whether you're a fan of pop music, the ability it has to be liked by such a large audience is really impressive.
Yeah.
It's the power of art's even in that. It's in everything.
Well, we're going to do we're going to do a part 2 of this same subject next week, and we'll go into some of the maybe what some would consider more serious ideas of what art is. For one thing, we talk about all these things. I think it's pretty clear in history and philosophically that art plays a role often of conscience. It points out, it points us to better thoughts, points us to truth and better.
A better way of being. I just like a.
It's
yeah.
Conscience. Conscience is a real part of the role of art. It's bringing us back to introspective thought. And so we're going to just pick up on this later next week as we talk about this in more depth. Want to introduce a song that we're going to play. We perform a song and we're going to share that with you. The name of the song is Clatter. Now I want to say this song is one of those songs. I was driving down the road. I literally had to pull off the road, and I had to write. And on the side of the road as cars are flying by, I'm writing this lyric, and it came almost as fast as I could write it down. But it deals with some of this stuff in culture.
Yeah.
This song is also.
Yeah, sure. I remember that day.
What is the reaction of this song? Has been what? We don't always play it, but when we do play it brings out
it tends to
a lot of reaction.
Yeah, it tends to catch attention of people.
Yes.
Which
So we've been thoughtful sometimes about where we play it and when we play it. Anyway.
Sure. It's a great song.
Took me, wrote it that quick. It's a poem. It basically is a poem, stands on its own. And the music to it came almost as quick. And John and I put together, it's on, I recorded it on Verse, the trilogy Verse. You'll see a picture of this. And it was Right Reverend John, the second trilogy, which was called Verse, had 3 songs relating to verse. One of them was this, which is actually a poem. So we're going to play that for you. We do want to thank you for being here. Thank you for joining us. Whether you're listening to the podcast or you're watching this vidcast on Stage Coup Records YouTube, whether you're listening or whether you're watching it, right below you'll find a link to the others. So you can listen to the podcast, you can go to the podcast from the vidcast, and you can go to the vidcast from the podcast. We appreciate you joining us and being part of this. We thank you for joining us at the Meeting Underground. We've got some ideas we're cooking up about episodes in the future, and these all won't include just me narrating. It'll be some others, like maybe this guy next to me. Anyway, we appreciate you. Thank you for joining us. We'll see you next week. And here is Clatter. Hey, what's up? What's down? What's going around? A tune for the marketplace piece. What shines as gold, the salesman bold, as he makes his well-rehearsed pitch. Money on art makes industry tick. Kudos to the makers of this. What's left behind while trying to be kind is the clatter of the serpentine. Yes. escape this old sucking rape and this noise you just might somehow miss. That they're laid there like clams to all of the fans of this clatter. The children of flowers, screaming each